After the resurrection of Lazarus, after Lazarus was raised from the dead, he died 4 days. Jesus Christ returned back to Bethany. This is a story of love. Are you paying attention, please? That Jesus, that was always moving around, going for crusade, he still has a family where he could resort to and rest, and not only rest and eat. You read throughout scriptures, you will not find that many in the gospel. It means that there was a kind of comfort that Jesus found in the family of Mary that will make Jesus, after going for crusade and all of that, ministering to people, healings and deliverance and all of that, he will come to their house and he will rest. Now, the story that I learned from this place is the story of love. You know, the story of God that was told us in the book of John chapter 3 verse 16, are you with me? Is that for God so loved the world that he gave. But I am seeing another story that is being told by the life of Mary. And this story is that Mary loved the Lord. The story of God is that God loved the world. But the story of Mary is that Mary loved who? Are you with me? Mary does what? She loved the Lord. And you'll agree with me that everyone loves to stay around where they are being loved. How many of you want to go where you are not loved? The reason why Mary, her house, Jesus will go comfortably to stay there was because the story that she was telling with her life was the story of love. And when you read further, you begin to see that this statement I made was true. Because when Jesus Christ sat at the dining table to eat, while he was eating, she brought, then, should I call it, they've explained this to us, her yearly investment. Imagine your 1 year salary. If you are collecting, how much is the average, what do they call it now? Minimum wage. So imagine you are collecting 77,000 naira for a year. How much will it be? So in those days, they save their money in buying things, and especially ointment, that kind of spikenard, they buy it. And so it was very expensive. You know, in our days, we can buy perfume to spray on ourselves and all of that. But for them, it was not so. They buy those things just like investment. They buy it so that when they will need the money, they can sell it. And then it was also used for special purposes. When kings, they use it on kings and on royal people and things like that. But on special purposes. But we saw that on a casual day, but because of how much of love Mary had for Jesus, you know, it is love that can propel a man to give. Hope you know that. There are certain people that they might not have enough, but because they love somebody, they will go any length just to see that that person is being given or is being in a good condition. Mary took her investment and she broke it at the feet of Jesus Christ. This is to validate that, truly speaking, she loved God. This action of hers illustrates the kind of wholehearted service believers should be willing to render. First of all, it shows that she was obedient. And then her conviction. When she did that, there were people in the house that began to murmur. And I want to say this, that until your service for God, until your love for God becomes a talk about, where people are saying, like, are you the only one that loves Jesus? Have you heard people saying such? That is the kind of love that God demands from us. This woman, Mary, her love for God Maybe the disciples, we know the disciples truly they love Jesus. But her love for God was on another level. I pray that my love for God and our love for God will be on another level. And it showed in her service. Your level of love will be shown in your level of service. And for Mary, because of how she deeply loved the Lord, it showed in her service. And as Christians, we should learn from that example that our service to God should be from our heart, a heart of love for God. And just like I said, when she did that, Judas made a statement that this is a waste. There were people ahead of that because of their service for God, people tempt them to be wasting their life. There is nobody who wastes his life serving God. It is never a waste. Anything you do for God is not a waste. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, anything you do for God is not a waste. Your service for God, your service unto God is not a waste. Judas, because he was a thief, he said, this thing, he will have sold it, he will have used it to give to the poor and all of that. And then Jesus said, the poor you have always with you, but me, you don't have always. So, we should also learn from this that there are people, Judas was in service in the house of God. He was the treasurer. But he was taking advantage. His motive for service was for his benefits. We should learn from Judas not to be like Judas, that serve God for benefits. Service for God is not just because of what we can get. And for Judas, he went extreme for selfish interest. I pray God will help us in the name of Jesus Christ. The second subheading, Christ's triumphal entry. Can we read